Now, usually when you hear situations of side chicks being caught, normally it's perhaps the man's wife or the man's real partner who gets to find out who this girl is and decides to embarrass her maybe in public or something like that. That's usually the kind of scenario you see generally. But there has been some kind of interesting twist to a similar story, and I'll be letting you know what that is much later on the show. Thank you so much for joining. This is Unplug, brought to you by every NG, and it's time for us to keep you up to date with the latest news in entertainment, celebrities, politics, sports, and the entire 9 yards. My name is Victor, and without any further ado, let's get right into it for today. We're starting off with a BB Niger lockdown housemate, and it is Trikytee. The other time I was saying how well these housemates are really doing for themselves, and it seems like none of them is actually left out. All of them in different ways are, pulling their weights and just really doing good things for themselves. Now, Trikytee is not left out. Of course, when he was in the house, he showed interest in acting, movie production, and all of that. Well, Trikytee is now set to release his first short film, and this one is titled Paranoid. Well, he has said the movie is coming soon and it's going to be starring some really interesting people, including Trikytee himself. And it's definitely one to look out for. So while we're expecting new music from Lekon, we're also expecting new on-screen content from Trikytee. Interesting, right? Well, we're expecting that one to drop real soon. Moving on, let's talk Chimamanda Adichie, and this one is not so pleasant. You'll remember some time ago, just a couple of months ago, Chimamanda Adichie lost her mother, and that was just some months after she lost her father. So it was almost like double tragedy within a short period of time, less than a year actually, for the award-winning author. Well, she eventually said something yesterday, the first public statement ever since she lost her mom, and it was quite touching, really touching. She talked about how she had just lost her dad some time ago, and her mom died on the posthumous birthday of her father. I mean, the day he was supposed to be celebrating his birthday, and it was just quite touching, like I said. Well, she shared the entire story of how it all happened, how her mom, fell ill and eventually died. And I won't go into all the details, but it's good to see that she has finally been able to find the strength to come out and say something to the public. And I believe she's doing well. She'll get better and better from then on. Okay. Now, Baba Ijesha, still a big story in the news, and there just seem to be different ramifications to the entire gist from day to day. Now, he was arrested after he was caught molesting a young child and actually confessed to it, according to what we heard and what we reported here. Earlier, we got news that the police actually wanted to release Baba Ijesha because, according to them, there isn't enough evidence to keep him in detention, you know, just for a length of time before any trial. And people are now asking the question, oh, so all of a sudden, the police seems to know the law that it is unlawful to keep him in detention without sufficient evidence to, take him to trial and whatnot. And of course, the judiciary was supposedly on strike. So people are saying, why does it have to be him? Why can't that favor be extended to other people who find themselves in similar situations where they're accused of one thing or the other? There isn't even enough evidence to nail them, and they're just left to rot. Or, for example, people, young men who are just profiled on the streets and are picked up and are just thrown, in cells without any form of trial whatsoever. You don't have any evidence against them. So, what is different about Baba Ijesha's case? Is it because he is somewhat popular, he has maybe connections in high places? What exactly is going on? Well, Iyabo Ojo has actually sort of taken this matter really personally, and she has been attacking people who seem to want to defend Baba Ijesha's acts, in the likes of Yomi Fabi, and she has taken it upon herself to see to it that justice is served somehow, some way. And she made a series of videos where she said so much about the incident, about how he will be rearrested if they release him. and it's a really big situation. It's still one that keeps developing and will definitely keep you posted as everything unfolds. Okay, but away from Baba Ijesha now, let's talk about some other very interesting story. Now, there was this amputee hawker on the streets of Lagos, Oshodi to be precise. She came into limelight not very long ago. She just seemed to attract a lot of sympathy from people because, of course, hawking sachet water with just one leg under the sun, it can be really difficult. It's very easy for your heart to go out to such a person. Well, apparently, she garnered all that sympathy from people, and people didn't just give their sympathy, they were also contributing to help. And from what we gathered, the sum of 25 million naira have been raised, apart from donations by other people, but the Lagos state government also were interested in her situation. And earlier today, or yesterday, in fact, it was revealed that this lady is in fact a fraud, and most of what she said was not actually true. She actually said that she was in an accident when she was younger with both parents, and she lost both parents in the accident, and that was where she lost her leg, so on and so forth. Now, the truth is, she is not an orphan. She has a father who is still alive, and that was not exactly how she lost her leg. She was amputated at birth. So many other details that the Lagos State government investigated and found false. And this is somebody that a lot of people showed interest in and were doing their best to help. Now, the sum of 25 million that was supposed to be given to her has been withdrawn, and we don't know where or what is going to be done after now, whether she's going to be prosecuted for all of this, but we'll let you know what happens. But this is Nigeria for you. Anyways, still talking Nigeria, the presidential elections are going to be in the year 2023. And the Independent National Electoral Commission, under the leadership of Mahmoud Yakubu, has revealed the date for the next general elections in 2023, and the date has been set at February 18th. But based on history, what we have seen before, people are saying, oh, well, they're still going to postpone that date at least once before the real elections come by. But 2023 is still some time away, less than a year, obviously. But when the time comes, we'll see what our next readiness is like and whether or not the date is going to be postponed. Okay. Now, still talking something on the national scene, there was this former National Secretary of the defunct Action Congress who goes by the name Usman Bugaje. Now, he criticized President Muhammad Buhari's handling of insecurity in Nigeria, and he was picked up by the DSS. He was invited for questioning and all of that. He was detained. Now, he was released about 8 or 9 hours later, but a very serious question has been raised because as a result of this, people are asking, so what happened to free speech? So anybody who says something that the government just doesn't like is at risk of detention just because of criticism that is supposed to be constructive, that is supposed to help the development of the country. What exactly is happening to free speech in Nigeria? Big question, and I would like to know what you think about that in the comment section below. Okay, now remember what I asked before at the start of the show, what you know about side chick or exposed side chicks and how men's wives and partners tend to embarrass them in public. Now, it took a very interesting twist in this particular case because a side chick in Abuja, out of anger or for whatever reason, scalded her lover, a married man, with hot oil. Now, you can see in the video, you can see he has all these terrible, terrible injuries. Of course, a really fresh wounds at that point in time, and the man is looking really dazed. And the lady is just looking away. People in the video are just telling her to face the camera, turn and face the camera, but of course, she was not doing that. And I really don't know what to make of this entire situation, but it's really sad to see. It's going to be really terrible for his wife, for one, to find out this way. But I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. They're going to deal with their mess. Now, let's move on. As we wrap it up on the show, quickly let's take foreign reports. And this time, we're talking Turkey. Now, Turkey, to a large extent, was able or has been able to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, been able to manage it quite reasonably. until they saw a major spike of recent that is going to force them into their first full lockdown ever since the COVID-19 pandemic started last year. Now, as careful as they were and all the things they put in place, things have still spiraled out of control, and we might be seeing Turkey going into a full lockdown soon. And we'll definitely keep you posted of what happens. And just in case you might have any interest going to Turkey, you might want to change your plans real soon. But then, as we wrap up, let's talk sports now. In the UEFA Champions League second semi-final, it was Paris Saint-Germain against Manchester City in France, and that game started pretty nicely in favor of PSG. They were all over Man City and they got the first goal of the game. But in the second half, things completely turned around. Man City were able to grab a win. 2-1 it ended, and we're going to be seeing the second leg next week. But apart from that, there is still more action, although in the Europa League today, and we're going to be seeing the first legs of the semi-finals, and it's going to be Manchester United against AS Roma, and in the second semi-final, it's going to be Villarreal against Arsenal. So all of that happens tonight. So that is all we have on Unplug for today. Thank you so much for making it a date with us. And until next time, my name is Victor. This is Every NG. Goodbye.